Let me start with some examples. I think this video is going to have more questions than answers. Let me try to define what I mean by soul. So let's take this game here. This is one of my projects. Somewhat interesting environment. You can move. You can jump. It's made in a game engine. So is this a game? Is this a game with soul? I don't know. When I play it, I don't feel anything. I can describe why that is. I can try to come up with reasons. Well, it's an unengaging environment. There's not much to do. There's not much interactivity. Okay, fair enough. How about this game? This was submitted to a game jam. Has way more interactivity, way more to do. There's player objectives, there's enemies coming at you. There's a series of kind of goals you need to progress through. Yet something's missing. And once again, I can describe things that are wrong with it. A lot of very basic art. The UI is quite messy. The gameplay is chaotic. Some of the mechanics are unintuitive. Is it those things that give it soul? If I fixed all those things, would this game now have soul? Would it have that feeling? That thing we're looking for? That we're trying to recreate? Maybe a game is more about story, narrative, the framing of things. Okay, here's another game. Submitted to an Epic Game Jam, I think. This has some puzzles, has an environment to walk through, has a narrative, a progression, checkpoints. Yet it's kind of slow and drab. And the confusing part is even though I can see the things that are wrong with it, there's a feeling that that's not really what's wrong. There's a sense that even if those things changed, it still would be missing something. Are my expectations off, or am I looking for something that's not there? Am I unreasonably... Maybe if I added those things, it would be. It would have that feeling. Hard to say. Okay, how about this example? It has more of the things that make a game, yet it's one of the most kind of generic, heartless games I've ever played. I learned a lot making this game, but like running through obstacles on what's basically a modified third-person controller for Unreal, it's missing something. Okay, well maybe I should like pull things back and like pull back to when have I felt that feeling before? Well, I've played games that have made me feel that. So here's another game. The theme for this game jam was 90s, so okay, I liked Heavy Gear 2. That game had a certain soul to it. So let me draw inspiration from that. Let me draw inspiration from the opening cinematic. The one that I still rewatch from time to time. So I recreated it as best I could. I got the mechanics in there. I made it the same layout, the same mission. Put in the enemies that were in the cinematic. Yet there's something shallow about it, hollow. Is it just missing mechanics? If I added more layers, better enemies, longer missions, is that it? Why doesn't my brain make that connection though? Why is there this sense that won't be enough? Am I tricking myself? Is it just because I've never seen it? So that's what I'm trying to figure out here, is why, even though I can list every element that's missing, there's this sense that that's not what's actually missing. There's something untangible that I can't quite put my finger on, that I need help.
What am I actually here to talk about, though? How to be a successful game designer. That's what this video is about. I think I was most successful as a game designer when I was a kid with a stick.
Soul is the part I care about, and I think I need help. Building skills is straightforward. If you practice something, you will get better at it. You can't help it. If you did something every day, but you set out to not get better at it, you couldn't do it. It'd be inevitable. If you put time into something, you will improve. That's just how your body works, for the vast majority of skills. I know how to do that. I haven't reached the top of that mastery ladder yet, not even close. But that path makes sense to me. Maybe I'll make an entire video on that one day, since there's some tricks to it. Like one of the tricks that I like to encourage is using what I call the bedtime test. Since we have this tendency when we're planning to plan with the best version of ourselves in mind. We imagine how we would want to be or who we would want to be, and then plan with that version of us in our heads. Which is probably not a bad strategy long term, but if you want to have a consistent habit, really you should plan for the worst version of yourself, the version of yourself that's stressed out, that's tired, that's at the end of your rope. What can that version of yourself still do that moves you in a positive direction? So the bedtime test is imagine yourself at the end of the day, and there's a thing that you should do that will improve your life, and you just remember right before you go to bed that you forgot to do it for the day. Can you still do it? If the answer is yes, I think you'll be able to be consistent at that habit. Most likely. And if the answer is no, you will most likely not be able to sustain that habit as well as you would want to be able to. So there's different things like that around habits and working towards something and building skill. I think it's important to get connections, reach out to people, do things that are sustainable versus just the thing that you need to do. Figure out how you work, why you resist the progress that you know would be helpful. Figure out what your body is doing and why it's fighting against you. What your emotions are doing and how you feel about those habits you're trying to sustain. There's tons of things there in regards to skill. I could go on. That's part of my day job, involves trying to help people with consistency. So that part makes sense. Skills make sense. Even the social element. I like teams. I like game developers. I think game developers are a very interesting type of person. They're these wonderful mix of creative and technical. They're both very supportive, yet they're able to be honest and critical. But the soul part of games eludes me. And I need help. There's a part of this that feels like I'm not even supposed to be able to figure it out. That it's almost arrogant to think that I can make something with a soul, with beauty in it, with that feeling that we crave, that we're obsessed with. I don't know what that is. And I don't know how to get through it. This feels almost frivolous, though. Like there's so many other things I can try to figure out in life, yet this is the one that I'm obsessed with, that we're obsessed with. Why is it so important? Is it simple? Is it complicated? I just want a direction. I just want a direction. I know the direction on how to improve skill. The road is sometimes tough in that direction, but I see it. How to make something with beauty that has that special thing in it. Why does it feel so intangible, yet so close? It feels simple. I feel like I'm here to offer a slightly different perspective. I see a lot of videos which are from kind of newer people, I guess, making their first game. Maybe they're doing computer science or art or something, and they want to make a game. And they just get right into it. And start making something interesting and fun. Not always. I mean, if you look, the amount of devlog 1s and 0s versus the amount of devlogs 2s and 3s or 12s and 13s, the ratio is pretty horrific. So there's something going on there. And I'm still here, so maybe that's something. But there's something important about this that people care about. There's a reason we're obsessed with this. There's a reason we're obsessed with trying to make something that stirs the soul. It makes us feel something that we remember. And we're kind of all here for a similar reason. Our paths probably came from many different places, but we're kind of all here because this happened to us. Somewhere in your life, you felt it. Something felt right in something you played or watched or experienced, and it stirred your soul in such a way that it gave you this thirst and drive to recreate it. What is that? How do we make it ours? And that's why we're here. And then I guess I'm kind of picking this apart. Most things we do in life, it's because we feel like they're valuable, either to us or to others. And also, if you look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right, you got physiological needs at the bottom. And then above that, you have, I think it's safety. And then above that, you have love and belonging. And then above that, then you have kind of building the skill and respect, and then self-actualization. So it's like the social part comes before self-actualization and hierarchy of needs. And I don't think that's a mistake. I don't think we're supposed to become these badasses so then we can meet and connect with people. I think we're supposed to meet and connect with people so we become badasses. And in case you haven't noticed, at least in my opinion, I think game devs are pretty cool people. They're kind of weird. They're these weird combination of like creative and technical people that can be passionate and varied, and I don't know, they're open, sometimes very straightforward. Some of the more honest people I've met. You can play a game and a game dev, hey, what do you think? This game is boring. Something's refreshing about that sort of honesty. Or we're all striving for something in our own way. And it's this like unified like sense of fun or excitement, or not even. It's something. Since there's horror games and stuff, so I don't know, I guess those are fun. Some feeling there that we're all aiming towards, though. So I think the skill and the social complement each other. The soul is the one it might not even be the right word for it. I'm so confused by it. The soul of a game it doesn't even just exist in a game. That's why I had photos of possums and deer and butterflies. I guess it was a moth in the intro. There's like something that feels so real, yet it isn't tangible, at least to me. Maybe other people can touch it and manipulate it and move it. I don't know what that is, though. I get to experience it, when I watch a movie that makes me cry, when I listen to a song that gives me goosebumps, when I go outside at night and I hear the crickets. There's a certain feeling that happens in my chest and my throat, like a release, a peace, feeling of being at ease.
It's the actual date. I'm sure it's in the video timestamp, but let's make it easier on myself. It's Sunday, October 8th, 2023. Yeah, it's that year. Not a bad year. Kind of a weird year, though. Oh, man. Maybe we'll repeat the same cycle. 2016 was a good year for us. 2021 was a good year. So what would that be? 2021. So it's going to be the good year if we were following a 5-year cycle. Basic math. 2026. So not next year. Not the year after. The year after? I don't know. I doubt things work that cleanly.